Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and that was a report about the visit made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to South Sudan. In the past week, the presidential activities of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, we are shedding light on them during the course of the episode. We started with the visit made by the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, and right now in the second segment of the Daily Debate, we'll be shedding more light on the historic visit made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to South Sudan and his meeting with the South Sudanese counterpart Salva Kiir. And I'm honored to be having with me over the phone straight away Ambassador Mohamed Hegazy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
My pleasure, Ahmed.
Mr. Ambassador, we'll be starting with what we spoke about in the first segment of the episode, the visit made by the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and the meeting held between President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and the Palestinian President at the Ittihadiyya Palace. How do you see the timing of such a visit, especially with a new administration coming in at the United States?
Well, Ahmed, allow me at the outset to extend my greetings to your honorable guest, Ambassador Nabil Al-Arabi, one of Egypt's most distinguished ambassadors. Having said that, let me answer your very important and pertaining question. The meeting with President Mahmoud Abbas with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi came on a very important time where the Palestinian cause has endured many hurdles and pressures from the region and from the international arena, particularly from the American administration. As a matter of fact, the Palestinian needs more of diplomatic and political support than ever. And I think no place to regain trust in the future of this cause but in Cairo, where Egypt has always been a supportive party to the Palestinian cause. So the visit, I can see it in a very crucial moment where we need to stand beside the President and the Palestinian people in their quest for their legitimate rights and homeland. And of course, as you said, a new administration, President-elect Biden, is about to reach the White House in January, and a new era of relations we hope will dominate the scenes in the Middle East and in the world stage, where we all have to work together to bring in the parties to a meaningful, time-limited peace negotiation where we can see an end to this injustice and to this conflict that has vexed the relations over the years in the Middle East.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, why do you think that the Palestinian cause is always a top priority for Egypt?
Of course, Egypt knows very well that the core issue to stability is the Palestinian cause. And without stability, whatever we are doing all in the Middle East will not really gain fruits unless we settle disputes, particularly in the Palestinian front. Of course, Libya is so important, and Egypt has played an important and instrumental role to bring in or to open up gates for political solution and stability. Same in Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Lebanon, name it. The Middle East is in turmoil, and the core issue that requires a lot of attention is the Palestinian cause. So President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi knows very well that there is no stability can be attained in the Middle East unless we solve the Palestinian problem. And if we succeed in putting the Palestinian cause on track, then the whole Middle East will be open for talks, for reconstruction, and for meaningful peace that will bring the people to live together for a better future.
And speaking of the Arab world, do you think that the developments that were made in the Arab world in the past year or two in favor of the Palestinian cause or not?
Well, I don't think that the Palestinian cause can be omitted in any agendas in the Arab world, being it regional or international. The Palestinian cause should be always there. And I don't think that the Arab world can move further in their communication with Israel, or Israel can gain grounds unless it gives up with the Palestinian cause. People has to live together, and a solution should be promoted by the international community. And I think with the new administration, Arab diplomacy should exert some pressure and efforts.
Yes, and before the visit made by the Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to Egypt, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi had made a visit to Juba and to South Sudan on Saturday at the beginning of the week. How do you see the importance of such a visit and the timing of it as well, a historic visit?
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi described relations with Southern Sudan as strategic and instrumental to Egypt's national and strategic security. And I think Southern Sudan is a partner, not only as geographical and historical partner to Egypt being part of Sudan, but it was always been Egypt a supportive nation to Southern Sudan since independence in 2011. Egypt has promoted the peace between the two parties after the independence. Egypt has supplied a lot of support to Southern Sudan, being it in the electrical roadways as well as hospital rehabilitation in the irrigation or waterfront. Egypt also have trained cadres, and always the education is a common denominator between Egypt and Southern Sudan, where many cadres from Southern Sudan have studied in Egyptian university, and now we can see that even Alexandria University is opening a branch in Southern Sudan. Southern Sudan, to me, Ahmed, has many keys and answers to the water crisis in the region. Of course, the Renaissance Dam predominated the discussion in Eastern Africa and the region in general. And of course, to reach a conclusion to this very complicated issue, Southern Sudan, with the conservation policies on water in this region, and with coordinating the water flow from Southern Sudan to Egypt, particularly in the waste region of the marshes of the Sad region, we can re-establish the Jonglei Canal project, where we can conserve for Egypt and Sudan, I think, 6 billion in the first stage. And of course, if we followed the same, even in the marshes in Ethiopia and in the Great Lake region, we can observe many wasted water that will allow the countries to look into their negotiation with much ease and think about their future projects with much more tranquility. And I'm always confident that regional cooperation and regional security regarding water issue will prevail over the limited and narrow national perception to water issues. And I'm sure that the visit to Southern Sudan is a very important and fundamental step towards regional cooperation.
So in your opinion, Egypt and South Sudan are on the same wavelength in terms of the visions of mutual interest and the existing challenges in Africa?
Absolutely. I mean, we need, when I said regional cooperation, we need to bring Africa to silence its guns. We need to bring meaningful cooperation. We need to build multilateralism, interrelations, and a win-win solutions where Southern Sudan, for example, can find a lot from political support, as we always been supportive to the national dialogue in Southern Sudan, or in the developmental efforts where we've been always with Southern Sudan since the inception of their independence. And before that, as you know, the proverb in Southern Sudan for any mother that she always pray for her son to study in Egypt. That's why half of the cabinet in Southern Sudan are Egyptian university graduates. So I wanted to say that the only way forward to Africa is to unite, is to work together, is to silence its gun, and to, of course, rebuild the nation state. The lack of institutions in Africa cause conflicts, like what we are seeing or witnessing in many parts of East Africa or elsewhere in the continent.
Yes, and this brings us to the pledges made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi during the press conference after the meeting with the President of South Sudan, Salva Kiir. So, how do you see the pledges made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, not just on the economic level, but in exchanging expertise in education, in culture as well?
Well, with Southern Sudan and Sudan in general, we've been a reliable partner in all domains of development, in education, in training. As I said, since the independence, Egypt supplied Southern Sudan with 3 power-generating units that has helped the country through this period. And now we are designing and working with Southern Sudanese to guarantee the finance of a multi-purpose dam over the Nile that will allow Southern Sudan hydroelectric power to help the development there. But in the education, in the culture, in the health, Egypt is very supportive. As you know, with the COVID-19 epidemic, Egypt has supplied Southern Sudan with a great deal of support and procurements that is required to confront the epidemic, as well as in September after, or in August after the flooding of the White Nile. Egypt also supported Southern Sudan and the government in Khartoum as well, not only in Juba, yes, but also in Khartoum. An airlift have carried a lot of supplies to the victim of this flood over the month of August and September. I guess that Southern Sudan will work with Egypt towards solving the crisis in the region, and I think it has played a very important role in bringing in the government of Khartoum and the rebel forces to a dialogue in Juba. That was very important and meaningful. It means that Juba and President Salva Kiir can play a very important role in pacifying the region and in helping the cooperation and the win-win approach to prevail over those who are seeking conflicts, wars, and have damaged the image of Africa worldwide.
Yes, Ambassador Mohamed Hegazy, the former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you very much for being with us on the phone on the Daily Debate. Thank you very much once again. Ambassador Nabil Al-Arabi speaking in the second segment of the Daily